friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on August 19th, 2024. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet. Welcome to the Daily Do, giving you your space weather update, as well earthquakes, volcanoes, and world weather. Always starting out here looking at our sun for the past 48 hours. Multiple minor M-class solar flares, but no major coronal mass ejections thwarted our way, or major solar events to speak of. We're observing 11 sunspot regions now. Let's have a look at the last 48 hours incoming, as there's lots of plasma filament activity, as you can see swirling across the surface here on the left-hand side, and as well, big sunspot region incoming. Pretty active in the outgoing. Look how high and fast those solar prominences are whipping around the surface, interacting with each other from one side of the sun to the other, as I will show here. Looking at the last 48 hours of events, large plasma filament eruption there, not Earth-facing, another one there, plasma ropes spinning here in the southeast, and then continuing around our sun, backside coronal mass ejections, big plasma filaments there, antipode to each other, and then big sunspot region coming in. We'll get a closer look here under another light momentarily. Amazing images here. That was 131 angstroms. Multispectrum here pointing out the coronal holes, which are turning away, and there is a slight equatorial coronal hole that is Earth-facing. And then here, 171 angstroms. Just amazing images, watching all of these sunspot regions interacting with each other. 11 sunspots right now. And here are those sunspot regions in motion. We'll get a closer look at this big sunspot region that is coming in on the left-hand side. Looks like a big solar hurricane on the surface of the sun. Amazing images there. Wow. Current space weather conditions, we are under R1 minor radio blackout impacts, and that is from the Earth-facing minor M-class solar flares. Solar winds are coming in at 372 kilometers per second. They were slightly up the other day from the most recent geomagnetic event. Solar influx is coming in at 231 SFU. Solar X-ray flux showing there minor M-class solar flares. Solar proton flux is low. Geomagnetic activity was up to KP7 on the night of the 18th. Having a look here at the Space Weather Prediction Center, showing their space weather prediction spiral. Minor geomagnetic instability expected 21st into the 22nd. Little green circle on the right-hand side is Earth. ISWA space prediction spiral here, showing the backside CME I was mentioning, and as well we did have Mercury in retrograde, and sure enough we had seismicity and as well a large volcanic eruption. Eastern Russia, Kamchatka. We'll get to that momentarily as well. Having a look here at LASCO 2, showing the last 4 days of space weather taking off from our sun. As you can see in these images, not much has been shot out our way, but we do have a pretty large CME being detected in the last few frames there. 15th, 16th, a lot of backside activity and as well outgoing. All of these images brought to you by SOHO and NASA and Solar Dynamics Observatory. Mixed here with daily events worldwide, and there's that most recent CME I was mentioning. Now let's get to earthquakes here, as we did have quite the event a couple days ago. Large 7.0 earthquake rocking the southeastern region of Kamchatka. Let's have a look here at where the earthquake was. 7.0 magnitude at a 29-kilometer depth, Petropavlovsk. And then moments afterwards, there was a large volcanic eruption at the Shovelich volcano, which is in the northeast region. So antipodal reaction from a large 7.0 magnitude, showing almost 2,000 earthquakes this past week. And about 10 of them have been here, including the 7.0 at Kamchatsky, and as well offshore. No tsunami warning, watch, advisory, or threat. A lot of people were posting that there was a tsunami warning, but there was nothing. But there was a large volcanic eruption. Having a look here at the SO2 from this large volcanic eruption at Sheveluch, as it is already cruising its way, wrapped up in a low-pressure system in the North Pacific, cruising its way across the Aleutian Islands and into Alaska and eventually down into British Columbia, forecast into Thursday. This thing, all of this SO2, sulfur dioxide emissions and carbon particulates from the volcano, has already encompassed the planet. And that's coupled with all of the wildfires that are burning across northern Alberta, BC, and Northwest Territories. Now let's have a look here at the last 24 hours for earthquakes. Simmer things down a little bit. It's been pretty active. Thoughts and prayers going out to everybody affected recently. Most recent activity here at Hawaii, and that is increasing. Continual aftershocks off the coast of Kamchatka. 5.7 magnitude at Bucco, Philippines. And as well, our deepest earthquake today, 528-kilometer depth at Fiji. That was yesterday, so the past 24 hours, that's the deepest. Largest being the 5.7 Philippines. Notable earthquakes here at Meriden, Australia, 4.6. Southwest region of the continent. Very rare earthquakes there. As well, an earthquake here. Russia, Severomuysk, eastern Russia, and as well through the Arabian Plate, 4s, 5.2 magnitude here, Chile, but very quiet across the Caribbean and Central America into the United States right now. Most of the activity has been up into the Northwest Pacific Ring of Fire, but increasing activity here off the coast of Puerto Rico. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on our planet over this next little bit. Lots of volcanic eruptions. Looks like something erupted here over the central Atlantic towards Azores, La Palma. Stay tuned for a volcanic update, as we're going to have to get a recount here on all of the active and erupting volcanoes across the world. This is showing the sulfur dioxide emissions forecast for the next few days across the rest of the planet. Now let's get to weather here, as North America, we've had quite the extreme weather events unfold over this past weekend, especially through Ontario. Tornadoes dropping down on my friend's disc golf course. We've got Tropical Storm Ernesto that has been bringing large surf and flooding conditions all across the northeastern United States, and it is aiming for and grazing Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and as well into Newfoundland. Long-range forecast here up to 8 meters, up to 5 meters along the shorelines, but this is still the most recent forecast. It could change here, as there's some very warm waters in the North Atlantic right now. Lots of things to be aware and prepared about, everybody, and please stay tuned. Got some big videos coming up. Lots of information here. Having a look here, long-range forecast. Ernesto is set to hit Ireland by Thursday into Friday. That's right, scooting across the Atlantic Ocean and then smashing into Ireland. Another system here building, and an extreme weather event here forecasted. Long-range forecast here for the Canadian prairies. 23rd into the 24th. Alberta Clipper here forms, and extreme weather will break out across the Canadian prairies into northern Ontario as that low moves into the Hudson Bay. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to be sharing a lot of information. As I said, there's some big changes happening on our planet, and you can't really show all details just yet with these maps. 3 tropical systems forecast through the North Pacific. Having a look here, satellite imagery over Canada. We've had a pretty smoked out week. Air quality is not the greatest. Wildfires are still burning across Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and now into parts of northern Ontario. And of course, we've got this volcanic eruption at Sheveluch, who is now sending sulfur dioxide into the mix. A little wildfire here, notable through Idaho, erupting throughout the day today. All of these images brought to you by NASA Worldview and Zoom Earth. Now, as I said, we're going to be diving into all of the volcanoes that are erupting around the world, but just have a look at how active this region is, Kamchatka, as there's 6 active and erupting volcanoes across the region. Shevelich, and then southward with Klipchevskoy, Kamchatsky, Bezimiany. Having a look here at the last week for earthquakes, 7.0 magnitude off the southeastern coast here, Kamchatka. Heads up, my friends and family. I've been warning all week about the extreme weather events and as well the earthquakes, and they're happening. So stay tuned for the volcanic activity report and as well planetary positions. Stay aware and prepared, stay young and have fun, and get your daily due. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.